Don't know what a loop is? Want to learn how to work within loops? If so, stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Learn Python. In the previous lesson 10, we looked at removing items from list by value. Also, we learned how to sort a list permanently and temporarily. And finally learned how to reverse a list and find its length. In the current lesson number 11, we will look at what a loop is and also how to work in loops. So far, when we wanted to work with a list, we usually accessed items one at a time. For example, for the variable cars, we might have BMW, Audi, Toyota and Subaru. And to call each of these, we would print cars, index 0, which would be BMW, 1 which would be Audi, Toyota and Subaru, as we can see in the terminal output. This is fine, this works if we want to print an item from the list. But it's not practical, because what if the list has 100 items, or 1,000 items, or perhaps even 1,000,000 items? We don't want to write one print for every item. And this is where loops become useful. And loops are one of the most important concepts in Python. Loops tell Python, do this action, this same action, again and again. A loop is a way to repeat code. So, instead of writing the same kind of line again and again, we write one block of code and ask Python to repeat it. For example, imagine we have a list of names. We could print each name individually. Type this, names equals, and in the list we might have Alice, Bob and Charlie. So, as we can see here in the suggested, instead of printing Alice, printing Bob and printing Charlie, either by calling the value, the name, or by index 0, 1 or 2, we could use a for loop. And let's use the f string hello and name and run this program. In the terminal output, we can see hello Alice, hello Bob, and hello Charlie. So what happened here? Well, this for loop, you can read it like this. For every name in the list, do the indented code below. So in our example, for every name in names, print the f string hello, inserting that name with an exclamation mark. So Python does this. The first loop is name becomes Alice. So print Alice in the f string. So hello Alice. The second loop around becomes Bob, and it's repeated, hello Bob. And the third loop, the name becomes Charlie, and that loop's printed again, hello Charlie. Then the list is finished, therefore this loop stops. And this is important because what we've done here by writing name in names, we've assigned a new variable. We've called each item in the list name. And this doesn't have to be name. We could have, for example, used X. But name makes more sense, and it's sensible. It'll be easier to understand for later. Let's make this output a little cleaner by adding a method that we learned in previous lessons. Here, let's go for title case and run the program. now we can see that each of the names, Alice, Bob and Charlie, have been printed in title case. We can go a step further. Let's go with the suggestion here and print a new F-string, welcome to the world of programming, adding each of the names in title case, and remember this, the \n, taking a new line between each loop. Running the program, we can see the first loop, hello, searches for the first item, Alice, in title case with an exclamation mark. Then in the second line, prints welcome to the world of programming. Again, Alice, title case, exclamation mark, with a new line. Then we can see the second loop. Again, hello Bob, welcome to the world of programming, Bob. New line, hello Charlie, welcome to the world of programming, Charlie, etc. So this is very useful. Both print lines are printed, and that means that both lines run once for each name. So for Alice, there's 2 lines, Bob, there's 2 lines, and Charlie, there's 2 lines. And what's important here is this indentation, because this indentation tells Python what belongs inside of this loop. We could, for example, under this, but without indentation, print. This is a simple program that greets each person in the list. Let's print this to see how omitting the indentation changes the output. So here we have hello Alice, welcome to the world of programming, the same for Bob, the same for Charlie, the \n giving new lines between, and the final print, this is a simple program that greets each person on the list, is printed once at the end and isn't included for each loop. And this is a very important rule because, again, indenting the function tells Python that it belongs to the same loop. Unindented code after the loop runs once when the loop has finished. Python uses indentation to understand your code. In many languages, curly brackets are used instead to show code blocks. But Python uses spaces. So this for name in names and print whatever we've put here. The indentation's not just for appearance. It changes how the program works. This is one of the biggest things that beginners need to understand. In Python, spaces matter. Before we finish, let's perform a mini task to help you understand loops, because loops are one of the most important ideas in programming. Without loops, we would have to repeat ourselves constantly. But with loops, we can work with 3 names, 10 names, 1,000 names, or even 1 million names using the same basic structure. For example, for item in items and do something with item, that pattern appears everywhere in Python. You will in the future use loops when you're working with lists, but also with files, user data, search results, invoices, websites, games, spreadsheets, and many other things. So loops are not just a small Python trick. It's instead one of the basic building blocks of programming. The mini task is this. Your task is to create a list with at least 3 foods, use a for loop to print each food, change the loop so it prints the sentence using each food, Fourth, add one final sentence after the loop. And finally, make sure the final sentence only prints once. Go ahead and pause this video, and in a few moments, check my result to see how you did. Well, how did you do? Any mistakes? And that concludes today's lesson number 11, where we looked at what a loop is and also how to work within loops. And if you like this video, please do leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. And join us in the next lesson 12, where we'll learn about errors with loops, specifically forgetting to indent, indenting too much, and forgetting the colon.